Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Charles Silk Dunn, and welcome to part 3 of the power of relationships. We are covering a series called REAPS. R-E-8 PS. This is a system that I've put together to help us to identify and assess and peel back the layers of any type of relationship so that we may get more acquainted with what we're dealing with earlier. So that way we don't invest a lot of emotions, a lot of time, and our DNA in people before we understand who they are. So today we're dealing with the E and the A. The E is the environment. Was the person raised in the city? Was the person raised in the suburbs? Is the person acquainted with dealing with a lot of noise or silence? This can have a lot to do with how a person adjusts to your behavior. What they like, what they dislike. You may force people into a certain situation or a certain environment, and it might throw off their harmony. So when you understand the environment of how and where a person was raised, then you have a pretty good picture or image of what the person is dealing with. So let's get with the city or the suburbs. People that deal with the city are more apt to have to be forced to interact with people. People dealing with the suburbs may understand and more so interact with nature. But I'm gonna fine tune this. I'm gonna fine tune this and give you an example of how the environment shapes the identity. It contributes to the encouragements or the fears and the doubts. Did you know at 12 years old, certain parts of Africa, at 12 years old, in certain parts of Africa, a little boy has to establish his manhood by going to kill a lion with a spear. Because this is the rite of passage into manhood. Did you know that lions in their culture, they see a man and they flee, they run. But in this culture, you can't pay a man, let alone a 12-year-old boy, to pursue, to hunt, and to kill a lion to establish his manhood. But this shows you how the environment has a lot to do with the things that we shape, how we see the world. One of the questions that I want everyone to be able to ask that person you in a relationship is, what was your image of the world when you was growing up? Do you know why? I have found that a lot of people are what I call house warriors. They talk a lot to their spouse, to their friends, or what they're going to do when they see their boss, what they're going to do when they get to the college or the university, or when I was incarcerated, what they're going to do when they see the warden or the counselor, and then only to be face to face with these positions of power and to take on a spirit of fear. And you know where that comes from? That means in their environment growing up, they never spoke to professionals. A lot of people are scared to speak to professionals. People with a suit and tie make their palms sweat, make sweat beads fall over their head. And you know why that is? Growing up, they never were taken around people of power, people of prestige, people in professional statuses that other people bow down to because of their economic wealth, because of how intellectual they are. So when you understand the environment, you understand what a person was subjected to, then you understand different fears, doubts, or encouragement. When a person walks out of a broken home, was the house in disarray? If they walk out of a broken home and only to walk outside and see dirt, broken glass, if this was their idea of a front yard, only to go further down the street and see cars on bricks, to see dilapidated homes with boarded up windows, then the spirit becomes broken. So mothers and fathers, it doesn't cost you anything to put your child on a bus and take them to a more affluent neighborhood, to take them to Washington, D.C., to take them to where they get a chance to see better equipped neighborhoods and communities. So if you were the type that saw a lot of erosion, pain, broken down buildings, broken down people, if this is the environment, then 9 chances out of 10 you were raised in a community that's going to breed a lot of doubt and teach you to hesitate. Because the life that you say you're going after in your spirit, you're not accustomed to. You don't even really know if you want it. So the E in environment is only for helping people to understand what were the shaping factors, because a person can only go as far as their source of information. So now we're going to move along to the A. The astrological position, one of my favorites, your zodiac sign. People, this is like taboo. People don't even like to talk about astrology. But years ago, 30 years ago, they had a song talking about what's your sign, girl. For the older crowd, they remember that. Well, guess what? Astrology is a science. And a science is based upon facts. And these facts contribute to the personality. I'm going to touch on a few zodiac signs real quick. I'm a Libra. Did it ever occur to you that Eminem, Lil Wayne, T.I., Will Smith, Nick Cannon, Christine, Emilion, Ashanti, India, Irie, Snoop Doggy Dogg, Young Jeezy. I can continue to go on and on and on. Barbara Walters. These people are Libras. Did it ever occur to you why these people like to write? Artistic. Scorpio. Sign of passion, vigor, fire sign. Scorpios are very, very, very dedicated and fiery and passionate about every aspect of their life. What about a Cancer? Cancer, the sign of loyalty. When you cross a Cancer, sometimes they worry a lot. They carry that loyalty in their stomach, have a lot of stomach problems. If you are disloyal to one, it takes a lot to get back on their good side. It takes a lot. Because for them, their focal point is truth. Let's talk about Aquarius. J. Cole, Dr. Dre, Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah Winfrey, Alicia Keys. The list goes on and on. You think it's a coincidence that these people are orders? That they write? That they speak? That they rap? That they artistic? It's not a coincidence. What about the fact that that first list about Libras and Aquariuses are compatible, especially in professional settings? All I'm explaining to you is that the A in reaps, the astrological position of when someone is born, has a contributing energy, and it could tell you about the different hidden desires, the hidden motives, hidden energies. Do your homework before you emotionally invest in people. Peel back those layers. Next week, we're dealing with the P and the S. I'm Charles Silk Dunn, Mr. YCI, Mr. You Created It, and we just closed off Reaps. See you next week.